It was easy to screw the screw right in there. Screw the screw right in there. Hey everybody, so I figured I'd just share some of the trading that I've been doing over the last little while, and not stock market related. So one of my buddies, he has no problems booting around the city, basically anywhere I ask him to go to pick things up so that I can fix his bikes for him, basically for like free. He'll go, he'll buy whatever, and most of the time it's really, really cheap. Like this Bontrager flash can for tubeless tires. That's like 95 bucks. This DR40 recorder by Tascam, I think that was like 40 bucks. And this Mastercraft rotary toolkit, which I don't even know how much those things cost. What I did is I took some of the money that I got from the trades, like actual cash, and I got a person to deliver these ring lights. I think that was like 30 bucks, something like that. We're gonna just take a look at this flash can here, make sure that it actually works. Now, for doing like $100 work on Buddy's bike, and all you have to do is go pick it up in Barfhaven for 10 bucks, like I think he's getting a pretty good deal. So let's see. Okay, there you go. You heard the two pops there? That's the beads slamming up against the inside of the rim, and that's what we want to hear, right? So I'm going to give this guy a thumbs up. It works great. And now he went and he picked up this Tascam digital recorder. I'll just kind of show you. I never really even used it because it only took XLR inputs, and I don't have those. That's what they're called, XLR. So anyway, so just check this thing out here, and it's important that it works, okay? So if I don't use it, then I can reuse it, and that's basically what I did. I just put it up, on Kijiji, and some guy asked me to buy it. If somebody asked me if he could buy it, and I looked in his other ads, and I noticed he had this rotary toolkit. So what I said is, you give me cash and this thing, and it'll save him cash, and all he has to do is just come over and get it. And that's what he did. He came over, he paid me, he gave me this thing, he gave me like 30 bucks, something like that. And now we got to check and see if this thing works. So it looks pretty good, but what do I know, right? Like Mastercraft, it's a crapshoot. There was a time when the Canadian Tire stuff was like really, really good and it always worked. And I'm kind of hoping that this is one of those, like from the old days. You can see here, just unscrew that, that lock ring thing, and it has a collet in it, which is good. There we go, screws on okay. As we know, that button there is to lock it so you can tighten up the collet with that lock ring. Now just plug it in here, and then we're just gonna test her out. You got the speeds here. You can see there, it's still spinning. I threw that bag over because it's creating a nice little breeze. And thumbs up. So the actual, the tool itself works, and now it's just a matter of taking a look at the accessories here and see what I got. Just make sure I unplug that, don't turn it on and hurt myself. And the box isn't even broken. So, things are going my way. Got this brush thing. I guess that's a grinder. Bunch of collets. Got some drill bits. What's this thing? Sander. This is like a sanding drum. I don't know, it's a polishing pad. And what we got in here? I guess these are like grinders. I don't know, grinding pads, something like that. There's a whole whack of these things. There we got some polish. It's like brand new. It's like hardly even used. Okay, yeah, that's one good way to look at things, right? Like if you're inspecting, take a look at something like that, like the polish. Take a look at the, the cutting wheels, like that diamond cutting wheel. All these like little jars of stuff, and if they're full, or hardly even used, then there's a good chance that the tool itself isn't even used. And, you know, if you take a good look at the paint on the tool, this was hardly used, right? Like it was bought probably as a gift or something, or maybe the guy needed it once, wanted to polish something with a Dremel tool, you know, like a rotary tool, and, you know, that was it. Sat in the basement. Got moved around a lot, the box got beat up, and, you know, like it devalues it, right? But hey, it was all free for me, so, you know, I'm happy. There we go. Just testing the lock there on that lock ring thing. Again, you know, you just press that button, just tighten it up. Well, I'm pleased with this. All the tools are there, like, you know, everything is there. Wow, and hardly used. Like, I don't know how much this would be at Canadian Tire, probably like $60. You know, maybe I'll just look it up right now. I don't know, is that to call it? Whatever. I'll have to look that up too. All right, so I'm gonna say thumbs up for the accessories too. Like, this is a really good trade for me. On those ring lights there, okay, the smaller one, it's like a 10-inch ring light, something like that, 12-inch, and it's totally fine, right? Like, everything is good on it. But there was an 18-inch ring light, and, you know, like, I wanted it, and it was super cheap. Those things are like $150 maybe. When I first started YouTube, like a couple years ago, like I guess 3 years ago, I was able to get one of those lights, like 18-inch lights off of Amazon for like under $20. And, you know, it's been an asset. I'm using it right now, okay? So I wanted a second one just in case, because in the winter here, like everything's gray, right? And I want lots of light. Plus I want a dedicated one for my workstation. Now, there's like a little insert that goes inside of the tube, and the problem with this one is there wasn't one. The guy literally like made one out of wood, so I figured I'd follow his lead, and I went out and I sourced a nice piece of hardwood from outside, like I'd used to make a hardwood hammer, I don't know, like last summer or something like that. I figured I'd cut it down to size and then just like trim it down, so then I would have this particular adapter that you need so that A slot fits in a B slot. Basically, the ring light fits onto the stand. Here you go. You can see it right here. You know, it still had the bark on it. When I made my hammer, I took all the bark off as I was walking, and it kind of took away from the whole authenticity, right? You know, I found this like hunting knife down by the river, I guess you could say. I'm just going to use it to slice off the bark. So here you go. The bark's all off. There's a little bit of green on the wood there, but you know, the wood's a bit split. Now, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna have to split it anyway, but I'm just gonna show you where I'm gonna cut. Now, I got to show off some of my tools here, like my Leatherman, which I've had for, you know, like a long time, a long time from, you know, a particular type of job that requires this. And I'm just gonna use the saw in it. I'm not even sure how old this thing is. Like, I've had it for so long, it's ridiculous. Like, they don't even make this model anymore. I'm just going to show you here. I just sawed off the ends, right? Like, I could use a saw, but a big saw is huge, right? And this is just a little piece of wood, so I'm just going to show you how good the Leatherman is. You just kind of saw through, you know, use a little vigor, and, you know, within a few seconds there, like, you're through it. And there you go. Now, I'm just going to do this like edge here. The reason I was doing it so quickly before is because both edges, like basically the entire piece of wood was supported by the garbage can. Now, because I'm just doing one side and I'm just supporting it with my left hand, it's kind of doing a crappy job. So anyways, now we have our piece cut down to size here. What we got to do is just take this apart. Now, what I done is I put in some extra supports, okay, into this piece of wood that the guy had, but, you know, it's like a cheap piece of wood. Like, look at this thing. It's just a cheap piece of softwood, right? And now, is that really going to support, like, that big ring light? It has been, but, you know, I had to use, like, a popsicle stick to keep it in. So there you go. You know, I'm just kind of showing you how this would fit here. And you can see that I'm going to have to trim down this piece of hardwood that I have. And it's not really hard. You can just peel it off, right? It's still kind of wet inside, so it's nice and soft. It hasn't really hardened up. So I'll just take this apart. I put on like a clamp, just unscrew it. And what I had to do here on this piece of wood is use a whole bunch of electrical tape to make it fit inside the tube. And, like, that's unacceptable, right? Like for a DIY type person, even someone with as little skill as I have, I can do better, right? So that's what I'm going to try to do. Now, what I had to do is flip this tube over because I needed the other side. I wanted that hole so I could screw something into the wood, as you can see there on the side. But unfortunately, the tube is cracked. So I'm going to need to use that clamp anyway, just to kind of keep it in place. There you go. Now, I kind of whittled it down to like a square because I guess in this sense it doesn't matter, but you kind of want a square to fit into the, that A slot that's on the mount of the ring light. So I'm just going to mark it here, and you want that to be, flush to the edge of the tube. And now what I have to do is I had to make a wedge, okay? Like a shim. And you can see I'm putting it where that hole is so that I can screw it in right after, make it like one piece. But first, because it's stretching out the split tube, I'm just gonna have to put on this support here, so this clamp. So it's basically just it's a basic pipe clamp, right? There we go. And I'm just gonna use this like little wood screw. I just kind of collect these. So I always have them. And like I said, that hole there, I'm just gonna kind of push it in and screw those pieces together so that it creates one piece, right? So the screw through the tube, through the shim, and into the piece of hardwood. And of course, because it's not really hardened yet, like it was easy to screw the screw right in there. Screw the screw right in there. All right. So there we go. One thing I didn't do right was put the base, right, where I want the base of the ring light mount to fit, which should be snug and flush up against the bottom. Basically where the tube and the wood kind of meet. And it didn't really work out that way because I miscalculated. So this turned into a huge fail, okay? Now, one of the problems here was there's really no way to support it, right? It's just too flimsy. Now, I could drill a little hole in there and, maybe it would work, but I'm dissatisfied with it, right? Like I'm just not satisfied with my work here, and I know there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. I dinked around with it for a little bit, but you can just see there, like, look at that wobble, right? Like, that's not good enough. It's just not good enough. So what I did is, because I collect bike parts, I figured I'd use, bike parts and try to make, the adapter piece that costs like, $12 on Amazon or whatever. And I'm not even sure it would fit into this narrow tube. So, it would be a crapshoot and a lot of time wasted waiting. Whereas I can just play with what I got. And you can see here that, I just used, some hub parts, some hub parts, and it works perfectly. Now, I have to say, the only problem I had here, and this is just because I'm testing it, right? Like I haven't finished tightening everything up. I'm just testing it, and the bolt inside is just not secure, right? And the only way for me to explain it to you is to take it apart. And I did this purposely so that I can just kind of reverse engineer what I did and just show you guys. So, that way you just use stuff that you're going to find in the garbage, right? In the spring. And you can totally fix your ring light. You can fix your ring light if you have to do that. Now, I don't expect anybody else to do this, but there you go. There's the inside of that, the ring light mount. And here's what I did, right? You can see it's just a hub axle, right? It's a hub axle with spacers and a used up cone, right? A pitted cone. And basically it's just a narrow, I said bolt, but really it's a lock ring. So it's a nut. And it fits right into the mount of the ring light. Now, after that, you can see there's a big long spacer. And then, on some of the older hubs, you can find these spacers here, and it's kind of like wide and flat. And I need that because it will act as a base for the mount of the ring light. And you can see here the cone is nice and loose. So I'm just gonna loosen that off there, and I'm gonna put some of this here Loctite. And there we go. Just tighten it up. And of course, Loctite, right? What it's going to do is it's going to lock it tight. So what it's going to do is just going to hold it in place, okay? I spread it around quite liberally. I just want to make sure that the cone and the lock nut, you know, are tight together so that all the pieces are tight. And then I want that Loctite to just hold the lock ring in place so that it doesn't move around inside of the mount of the ring light. Every time I try to spin it around or whatever and loosen it up, and then, you know, everything falls apart and I break my ring light and I lose my, well, I didn't even really pay. So what I did is I took a 15mm wrench and a 15mm cone wrench, and just like I would do, you know, for all the spacers and stuff on a bike hub, I just tighten it all up, and the Loctite will keep it all in place. Now here you go. You can see that old part that came with it, that wood mount that the guy made, which, you know, it's kind of broken anyway. So, you know, I can't use that. So what I did here is just to make sure that I reinforced that tube that is split. I just put a whole bunch of spacers in there, and you know, I spaced out wider spacers with narrower spacers, and then I locked it all in place with another pitted cone. There we go. I just slide it in and tighten up that clamp. I just want to make sure that the clamp, I tighten up on one of the widest spacers so that, you know, it's almost like flush to the inside of the tube. And then that way I know it's going to be secure and it's going to sit nice and tight. So there we go. Just tighten up that clamp, and we'll just put on the ring light mount. I'm not going to need a whole bunch of these like lock ring things here, like these wing nuts. And there you go. Like, just tighten it up, make sure it's nice and tight. And you can see, like, look at that. Look how sturdy that is. And this is a really crappy, like, ring light stand, but still, look how sturdy that is. Like, I'm really impressed with that. So a thumbs up from me. Here we go. I'll just show it to you. You know, it's pretty straightforward. You can't really see the fix itself, but, you know, there it is. Got the wing nut here. Got the clamp. The clamp looks kind of crappy, but what can I do, right? Like, the tube's split. So unless I can find a different tube, this is just going to have to do, and I'm actually quite satisfied. So here you go. Just move it around for you. You can see the stand is cracked. But the adapter I made is actually high quality. It's just a matter of, you know, moving it around with care, right? Making sure you support it with your hand, and don't go too nuts on the wing nut there. Like, all it needs to do is just kind of hold it in place, right? So it doesn't move around too much. And there we go. Just show you how actually secure this thing is inside of the tube. My little contraption. There you go. Now, I'd measure it out for you, but I'm sure that, you know, nobody's going to do this. And I think it was like 37 centimeters or 37 millimeters. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Like, I'm sure they'll be different, but who's actually going to do this, right? When you can just buy one. So again, a thumbs up from me. And just as an added bonus here, this thing also didn't come with like a cold shoe mount. So, well, I guess it's the adapter that fits into the cold shoe mount, but still, like, I just made one, right? Like, out of a bowl. Basically, it's a 1/4-inch bowl. And you can see there's one large washer and one small washer. The small washer is just a bit of a spacer, okay? It takes up the space between the head of the bowl and the bottom of the mount, the cold shoe mount. And then the rest of it just takes up the space in between the phone holder and the rest of the threading on the bolt. So there you go. That's how I DIY fixed up this ring light that I got in a trade from a whole bunch of other stuff that I got in trading bike expertise for things that my buddy goes around the city to pick up for cheap so that it saves him money and perpetuates my hobby. I highly doubt that anyone's going to do this ring light fix with bike parts and stuff like that, but it's mostly just to show you that if you use a little ingenuity, you never really have to pay anything. You just use the junk that you find, you know. In this case, I used bike hub parts, you know, the axle, cones, spacers, and lock nuts with a little bit of Loctite. You know, I ended up making an adapter that is probably just as good, I'll dare to say maybe even better than what you would have to buy on Amazon or whatever they even charge at a, you know, like a lighting or camera store. You know, I hope it helps you out, mostly just to give you, you know, a different mindset, right? Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.